bit worried that England goalkeeper is making one or two mistakes that let's just say he probably wouldn't have in the past. And is that a problem area for Gareth at this moment?
Well, he had a nightmare. He had a nightmare at Stamford Bridge last night, but he wasn't alone, because most of the Everton players had nightmares as well, didn't they?
Yeah, really, really poor.
But as England manager, it's not what you want to see.
No, far from it. Mind you, what you do want to see is the form of one of your bright young players in the other strip. And he was, what a season that man is having. You think of the wide players right now, the talent they've got, whether you're playing Foden, more central, whatever, Jeff. I was at where was I Saturday? Newcastle. I saw Newcastle dismantle Spurs.
Yeah.
And Anthony Gordon again in the first half. Fantastic. I mean, absolutely brilliant.
I said it yesterday. He has to go to the Euros. Yeah. He has to go to the Euros. No question about that. And you're right. Last night, I mean, my theory of last night was that one player played himself into the England squad. I'm not saying into the England starting lineup just yet, but one player played himself out of the England squad as well. And Cole Palmer was obviously the one who played himself into the England squad. And I don't like saying this because he's a young man, but Jared Branthwaite, I think, played himself out of the England squad. I know he picked up an injury in the second half, but in the first half, he was tortured by the Chelsea front line. And I just think that, in years to come, very much hope he's going to go on and be a fine England centre-half, but I think it's too early.
It's really, really savage to wield an axe like that after one game like that. But you know something? I know.
It's a worry though, isn't it? Steve Holland was there watching.
I know where you're coming from, Jeff. I absolutely know where you're coming from. I have to tell you, the piece of skill from Cole Palmer leading up to, was it the first goal?
Where he nutmegs
him and then gives him a wee flick back round the corner as a give and go, and then the most delicate of finishes. That skill was tremendous, but I couldn't agree with you more. He looked, and he's having a great season, and you and I have been singing his praises.
Yeah,
but he just looked so out his depth last night.
Unfortunately, he did.
It's a shame.
I mean, and he was not alone.
Far from it.
Far more experienced players looked out of their depth as well. By the way, Darren has already been on the text, said, "Good morning, Mr. McCoy. England goalkeeper making mistakes. I think a certain Mr. Dean Anderson was qualifying against Liverpool. Dean Henderson, I think he's meaning there."
Yeah, and I'll pass that on to AP McCoy about Mr. Anderson. So yeah. No, I think he was terrific. Actually, Dean Henderson, wasn't he?
He was. He was. I think
one of the saves. Do you know what I thought his best save was? The one from, was it who hit the ball into the ground at the back post? Diaz.
Yeah.
The one, great cross, great delivery, and he meets it halfway up and he hits it into the ground. I thought that was a brilliant save from Henderson.
He made some good stops. The one from Nunez as well, obviously, was a fantastic
That
stop.
was one of those games, Jeff, Liverpool could still be playing at this moment in time and it would still be sitting at the same score.
Yeah.
They were never going to score.
No, it
for
was
whatever reason.
One of those days. And Palace, as we said yesterday, they defended as if their lives depended on it. They were absolutely
Anderson was brilliant, wasn't he? Mitchell, terrific.
Anderson,
Klein,
Mitchell,
they were all great.
Wharton in midfield, I thought was a revelation. Young man, so composed on the ball.
I'm looking at him in the second half, and you know that way Liverpool are putting pressure on players you respect and closing people down. And it's just the composure. He was just putting his foot on the ball, and it looked as though when all this madness was going around him, I thought he showed incredible composure. That was a big result, and they looked dangerous. I mean, Liverpool clearly missed an unbelievable amount of chances. Yeah. But Palace could have added to the scoreline as well.
They could. Miles off where they need to be, said Sean Dyche.
You must like that. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. You must like that song.
Foreigner.
You must like that song.
Fantastic song, yeah.
Foreigner, Lou Graham. Was it Lou Graham? Was the lead singer of Foreigner?
I've got no idea.
I want to say Canadian based. I went to see them. I've seen them twice. Once in Glasgow, and I think once in they were fabulous.
I could only name you one Foreigner song, and that was it.
Really? It's called this. Oh, you must remember. There's a couple of classics, a real ballads. Waiting for a Girl Like You.
Oh, well, that's too foreign. Yeah. Don't stop.
You can't reach it. It's impossible to reach it anyway.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And the other one, the other ballad went on, which is brilliant as well. Waiting for a Girl Like You, and that'll come to me in a minute. It will come to me.
Unforgettable. So look, Cole Palmer dazzling once again. He's got 20 Premier League goals. He's level with Erling Haaland now at the top of the goal-scoring charts. We'll get your thoughts again in a minute, Ali, but let's hear what Mauricio Pochettino said about his star man.
Amazing contribution. So happy for him. He's doing a fantastic show for us. Yeah, so happy for him, so happy for the team, and the rest of the players perform very well. But it's true that he scoring 4 goals is an amazing achievement.
What does it say, though, to have the joint top scorer in the Premier League after the season that you've had in your ranks? That's a bit of a quirk, isn't it?
Now, for me, the focus should be into score goal, of course, is to help the team and to perform to achieve the objective that we have. But always is an individual objective. When you score goals, to see yourself in the table of top scorers, always is good for the confidence for him. Is good for the confidence for the team.
And that team is on the up at the moment, 3 points off the top 6 with a game in hand as well. And Cole Palmer, I know that every single Chelsea fan is demanding that he starts for England. And the big question is, where does he start, and who would he start instead of?
No, I think you made a good point. It must be in the squad, right? Interesting to hear Pochettino's use of words there, and I don't know if it was an English thing. He said he's putting on a fantastic show for us. That's actually exactly what he's doing. That is so what he's doing. It's unbelievable. He is putting on a show. He has been Chelsea's shining bright light this season above anything else by the proverbial mile. He must get in Gareth's squad. That's an absolute certainty. And the fact that we're now talking about him potentially being a starter, I don't think he will start. But it tells you how well he's doing, Jeff.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. And we will talk about more later. Manchester City fans, I wonder what they think about the fact that City, they only gave him 3 Premier League starts and then sold him to Chelsea. They might be scratching their heads just a little bit. Wasn't all smiles for Poch, of course, because at 4-0, they were awarded that penalty sometime between the award and the actual kick being taken, and Noni Madueke and Nicholas Jackson squabbling over whether one of them would take it rather than Cole Palmer. Pochettino did not hold back in his assessment.
First of all, I want to tell you that to make clear that they know, the player knows, the staff know, the club know, that the taker is, on penalties, is Cole Palmer. All that happened after is a shame. I am so upset about the situation. We were talking on the dressing room about the image that we sent because it's Monday night, football. And I said, in every single country they were watching the game, and we cannot send this type of image. It's a shame. I want to apologize to football people and our fans, because that is unacceptable. And the discipline is the most important thing on the team. That is a collective sport that, of course, players need to show. When you ask me about why we are not consistent, why we are not performing sometimes, why we show some good performance and then we drop because the standards, the young squad need to have, very clear that they are a very good active of the club, but in the same time they need to perform for the team.
Well, Poch talks about their youth, Ali. I mean, they were like 2 11-year-olds fighting in the schoolyard, weren't they?
I would normally defend them to a certain degree, Jeff, right? By saying I'd rather have 4 or 5 fighting over it than nobody want to take it, right? That would have been my normal train of thought. However, that was embarrassing. It was. I tell you what was embarrassing about it as well. I've seen Cole Palmer score 2 penalties, I think, well into the 90s. I saw him score an equaliser in an unbelievable game against Manchester City.
Yeah.
And I saw him score an equaliser, I think in the might have been in the 100th minute against Manchester United. I didn't see too many cues and fights for the ball then, when he stepped up and showed a bit of, to go and take it and stick it away. Listen, Jeff, MD can take a penalty at 4-0, 3-0, 4-0. MD can take it, because effectively it doesn't matter. The responsibility you look at players is when it's exactly that situation. I'm telling you, when Man City are winning 4-3 at your ground in the 95th minute and you get a penalty, that's when you show a bit of responsibility. You're right. I thought it looked childish. I thought it looked amateurish. And it was the only downside, really, on a wonderful night for Chelsea.
Yeah, and it is worth saying as well, by the way, that Jackson and Madueke were both excellent on the night for Chelsea. They just let themselves down. And Pochettino, to his credit, said it won't happen again, because if it does, they are out. 03717223344. Taking your calls this morning, Chelsea fans. Chelsea's next game is Saturday's FA Cup semi-final against Man City, which you can, of course, hear live on talkSPORT. 5:15 kickoff. Coming up, we continue the reaction to last night and discuss another relegation battle for Everton. That's next.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.